Hare Krishna. I'll take off the hat. I won't look cold. And here
and you
we
will
are.
feel cold.
We have Leela Madhurya, or Madhurya Leela with us, and Gaura Chandra Prabhu in Latvia. We saw them a few moments ago. And Udaran Prabhu from Latvia, we saw a few moments ago. But this is the London Zoom. And so we're going to join in with a special edition by the request of Vraja Sundari, and the devotees who are going to have simultaneous translation this time. So I think we'll just be our normal selves, and you do your best to translate us in a presentable way. Devashis Prabhu, good to see you.
Maharaj.
Dandavat Govinda Govinda. And it is it is the wrong time on my computer. I'm on Latvian time. Yes, Priyananda Devi Dasi, she indeed gave a very good tour of the St. Petersburg temple, and she gave a very good tour of the divine personalities on the first day of spring. The Vasanta, Krishna Vasantami.
Vasant Panchami.
Vasant Panchami, yes. Very good. It was good. And that was for the children. But you see, we are also children. We appreciate being shown around and hearing the glories of the Vaishnavas. All right. So devotees are coming together. It is the London Zoom. And somehow, by the publicity of Vraja Sundari and Praneshwari Devi Dasi, we have more and more devotees joining us. We are very happy for that. And also Parama Bhakti has just joined us. Welcome in, she's connecting to the audio. Just 3, 2, 1. I wonder if she knows how to connect to the audio. Yes, Parama Bhakti, you're with us too, connected to the audio. So welcome from Brazil. All right, so this time we do have language translation, instant or simultaneous translation into Russian and into Spanish as the inspiration and volunteering of Vraja Sundari Deva Dasi and Praneshwari Deva Dasi. And I see we do have quite a gathering in London. So Devashis Prabhu, we all got to fit into the London temple room. And we don't see anyone from West London just yet, but all others are here. And Anjali Didi is here too. Anjali, very good to have you with us. And Leela Sundar, Gopishwa Prabhu in Zaporozhye, very good. Krishna Indrani in Turkey, Nadia Sundari just here, Leela Shakti Devi Dasi in Brazil also, and Tungarasa in Norway. Govinda Nandini in USA, good to have you with us. And Achyutananda Prabhu, our dear friend Achyutananda in Ukraine. Hare Krishna. And Scarlett is with us. Hare Krishna. Good to see you. And Lakshmi Priya. Okay, we had a glimpse of Lakshmi Priya from Ukraine. Okay, dear devotees, we will get started and others may join, but it is, I always feel a little something amiss if I don't greet devotees when they come in. If we're in a temple room, we are somewhere, and devotees come in, we definitely want to say hello to the devotees. Not only hello, but we want to give our obeisances. And on the very top line here, I see we have Kumkum Devi Dasi smiling from San Jose Ashram. So that's also, we are honored to have her presence with us. And Lavanya Moy from in the West London Temple. So we do have some London, we have West London Temple open. That'll give some overflow for the seating capacity, because the East London Temple is small, but we've also seen is quite infinite in its capacity to host quantities of devotees. All right, welcome to you all. And just now, Seva Rupa Didi also joined. And I see, we're on to another page. And Saraswati in West London too. Let us begin. Let us begin in the way that we do, the way that Srila Gurudev very often did too. And we can simply chant Vandeham, Om Gyan, Vanchakalpa, and Namo Mahavaranyaya. We're all devotees here, and you know where the page numbers are. If you don't, or you know the verses, if you don't, then you can ask one of our hosts. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sarvaitam Savarutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitam Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Anvilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurataje Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivas Adi Shri Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. All right, so this is London Zoom, and we try to be a little chatty with London, and we try to have some interaction. Not only try, we do have interaction with London and the devotees. And Devashis Prabhu, for those of you who are new to the London Zoom, Devashis Prabhu each week comes up with a thoughtful title, with a pertinent title, and he gives us a good topic to get started on. We may end up in other places, no doubt, sometimes we do, but we have a beginning topic. And so this week he's given the topic of understanding the true value of human life. So this is something that we are always trying to stress to those we meet, to try to help other humans not to just use their energy aimlessly in this world. And we have actually quite a lot of quotes from Gurudev, from Guru Maharaj, and actually, of course, from everywhere, because all the scriptures are actually trying to wake us up, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur says. Wake up, sleeping souls. You're sleeping in the in the lap of the witch named Maya. How long are you going to sleep? Wake up and come to your fortune. So the human life, fortunately, has come to us. And Devashis will usually ask me to begin. So I have a quote, and I've passed this on also to our Russian and Spanish translators, which means Russian by Vraja Sundari Deva and Spanish by Praneshwari. So they have the text there. And now I have to come back to find the text again too, because I have other texts in my little storehouse. Yes, so this is Srila Guru Maharaj, and it's in a small booklet, but a small booklet filled with gems and jewels called Divine Aspiration. And it's under a section called The Human Form is Supreme. Okay, so this quotation is beginning with Srila Guru Maharaj explaining about, where am I? Sorry, I am on another page. Very sorry. I'm back to where I should have been. Yes, Divine Aspiration, Srila Guru Maharaj. The human form is supreme. So Guru Maharaj is beginning, first of all, by telling about Krishna's pastimes, and then coming on that man is made in the form of the Lord, in the Lord's form. So with your permission, I'll simply read to get us started the words of Srila Guru Maharaj. So first of all, Jai Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rakho, Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai, and Jai Srila Guru Dev, Srila Bhakti Sundari Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Srila Prabhupada, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. We are indebted to all to the extreme degree. Srila Guru Maharaj's words, and this is in a chapter which has got also a beautiful title. It's called The Test of Taste. The Test of Taste. So this is a subheader, the human form is supreme. Of all the pastimes of Krishna, the highest are in the human form. So even the Lord in his highest form is in the human form. Then Guru Maharaj is quoting from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnera Jatika Kela Sarvottama Nara Lila Naravapu Tahara Swarupa Gopa Vesha Benu Kora Navakishora Natavara Nara Lila Rahoya Anurupa. So the translation is, quote, Lord Krishna has many pastimes, of which his pastimes as a human being are the best. His form as a human being is the supreme transcendental form. In this form, he is a cowherd boy. He carries a flute in his hand, and his youth is just beginning. He is also an expert dancer. All this is just suitable for his pastimes as a human being. So that's about the Lord. Now Guru Maharaj continuing, saying, correspondingly, the human form in this world is the best for attainment of the service of Krishna in the divine realm. It is for this reason that it is so valuable. The poet Chandidas says, and maybe Chandidas isn't so famous in the Western world to us, but he's a famous Indian poet. So short quote from Chandidas, oh brother, please listen. This human form of life is above all. There is nothing above it. I appeal to you all, members of the human race. From my heart, I am giving this advice, born of my experience. Your human form, its pastimes, its movement, are the crown in nature's hall. Don't commit suicide. I'm not sure. Okay, don't commit suicide. Anyway, yes, so he's telling one thing and then saying, don't commit suicide. All right. So Guru Maharaj is speaking. But the supreme value of human life is misrepresented in a mundane way by those such as the Ram Krishna sect, which again, they're famous in India, maybe not around the world. They say that to serve God means only to serve man and his needs in this world. They claim the human being is above all. Chandidas has said so. Therefore, serving man is serving God. We should only serve the fallen souls, the human race, through so many works of welfare. Okay, so that's the claim of various sections of the Indian sects, naming the Ramakrishna mission, which is famous. Then Guru Maharaj says, but the real value of the human life is clarified by the scriptures. They advise us, utilize this human form to attain the divine plane of Krishna's pastimes. Human life is very suitable to reach that highest plane. It is very similar in many aspects. The human birth is rarely attained, And if you avoid this chance to approach the divine realm through it, then you commit suicide. Actually, I think that part I read before should have been separated as don't commit suicide. It was not what Chandida said, it was the subtitle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm reading an EPUB version of the book. All right. So if you lose this birth, there is no guarantee that again you will get a human birth. You may have to take birth as species of life. Remember the case of Bharat Maharaj. At the time of his death, he had some intense attention for a deer cub to whom he had given shelter after it became separated from its mother. He was lamenting, "Oh, who will look after this young one?" And in his next birth, he became a deer. Such a horrible thing that the impression of the young deer caught him and took him, and took such a shape. And then Guru saying clearly, such a dangerous position you are all in. So always strive for the higher plane. Hare Krishna. Anyhow, dear devotees, I thought I'd read this as the beginning part to get us started, to get us on the subject matter. But really, this is the subject matter, which is key to making our lives successful, because we have to be enthusiastic. And if we don't appreciate the value of this human life, then we may be lazy in our Krishna consciousness and enthusiastic for other things instead. And so, when we can see the rarity of the human life, its potential, and here Guru Maharaj also telling us that the highest plane of the Lord's manifestation is in the human form, then we can see the parallels that we've got an opportunity here in this world to make our journey home successful, at least to go in the right direction. So this is a beginning, and we know out of 8,400,000 species of life, most of them are animals and birds and non-moving and aquatics and insects, etc. And only 400,000 are human. And out of that, not so many are inclined for Krishna consciousness. So this is my beginning point, and just sort of on topic that I've just been with the devotees in three different places in Latvia, where we did public programs in 3 different places, and with public as well as the devotees coming with good gatherings. And we can say that really the emphasis there too is to use this human life when we're introducing to new people, to use this human life. It is meant for its proper use of searching for reality, the beautiful, and not do the same as all of the animals are doing, which is eating, sleeping, having family life, and defending, getting things as mine, me, mine, and I, as we hear are our big enemies. And all credit to the devotees in Latvia for making arrangements in Riga, Rezekne, and Daugavpils. I probably pronounced it wrong, but a town, the second largest town in Latvia. And in each of the places, full house and attentive, sincere searchers. And we are hopeful that in the future, that the whole world, but at least some in the whole world, must recognize that this is so valuable, and we have to take to Krishna consciousness. There is no other way, no other way, no other way. All right, so we're in London, and we have Devashis Prabhu, we have Saraswati, we have Lavanyamoy, and maybe others. I'm not sure who else directly in London, because I need to look on the screen again. So Devashis Prabhu, let me pass over the microphone to you.
Yes, Maharaj, thank you. A very wonderful passage that you read from there. And actually, it is very important for us to understand that how rare it is to get this human form of life. And we shouldn't become complacent thinking, oh, well, if I mess it up this time, I'll be born as a human again in my next life. There's no guarantee of that. And Guru Maharaj has told us that very clearly. There is no guarantee that again, you'll get this human form of life. So we don't know what is our future, but we know what we have in our hand now. And Srila Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj, he said the human form of life is best because every form of life, there is some feeling, thinking, and willing. But in the human form of life, that's fully developed. Whereas in other forms of life, it's more instinctive. So animals, they're only thinking about where's food, where's shelter, where's sex, how will I protect myself and my family and all these things. So this is common to everyone, even in the human form of life. But within the human form of life, we have a faculty within us to be able to explore the reality, to try to seek out what's necessary for us in our life, ask questions. Why am I here? Who am I? What's going on? Where am I going to? Is there any purpose to my life? All these things, they are fundamental in the human form of life. And we shouldn't be blasé about that. It's very important for us to try to develop our seeking consciousness, to find out why are we here? Why is this world how it is? How do I find out what my purpose is? And of course, everybody thinking, oh, yes, I have some purpose in life, but generally they're thinking in the wrong way. We're thinking that, we see so many inequities in this world, and the best thing to do is to try and put all those right, try to make the world perfect for everybody. But first of all, that's entirely impossible. As this is what Srila Sridhar Maharaj says, this is the whole crux of the teachings of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, is that you can't change your environment very much. There's not much you can do to change the environment, because after all, as Albert Einstein said, the environment means everything that isn't you. That's the environment. So how will you change all of that? But you have some power over yourself, that you can change yourself. So Bhagavad Gita is teaching us we should adjust our consciousness to understand the environment, to read the environment in the proper way. And the saints and the scriptures have all come to help us in that. Just recently, Srila Prabhupada A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, I was listening to a talk of him, and in there, very earnestly, he says, my prayer to you all, my request to you all, please try to give this one life for the service of Lord Krishna. That you've tried lifetime after lifetime after lifetime to find happiness in this world by serving yourself, but it's never worked out so far. And so at least this one life, try to give that for Krishna's service. We're so fortunate that coming into this human form of life, seeking for answers, we came across the scriptures, the saints. What Mahaprabhu came to give to the world, somehow we've become exposed to that. And through that, we can understand what is the real purpose of life. This isn't possible in the animal kingdom. They cannot think beyond their animal nature. And human beings also, we have an animal nature. But we can transcend that if we use our faculties of intelligence and reasoning and discrimination and all these God-given faculties that we have to try to seek out what is the purpose of life. And it's not some great enigma that nobody knows the answer to. The answer is very clear, very clearly given by the saints and the scriptures, that the purpose of human life is to search for Sri Krishna, reality, the beautiful. In Srila Guru Maharaj's expression, which in itself is very heart captivating, that we should search for Sri Krishna, reality, the beautiful. Often people say, you need to face up to reality, the harsh reality of life. But actually, we don't agree with that. We don't believe that reality is harsh. We believe reality is beautiful, and that reality is Lord Krishna. And he's waiting for us. That example from the Shvetashvatara Upanishad, which Srila Prabhupada quotes in his Bhagavad Gita commentary, of the two birds sitting in the tree, and the one bird, which represents us as the individual soul, tasting all of the different fruits that are growing in that tree. And some are sweet, and some are bitter, but still we're trying every one. And the other bird just observing, waiting until we become sick of trying all those different fruits, and turn to him, our eternal friend, and try to surrender. And he's waiting for that. He's waiting for us to help us. And we all know, we all have some experience that when we look for that, when we pray for that, the Lord sends someone to help us in one way or another. I think there's no devotee that will say that in their life that didn't come to them. So now that has happened, and now that we've come in contact with that, we should take full advantage of that and not be deviated by all of the, the flowery things that may go along with it. It's not better to be a god than to be a human being. We may think that, being a god in heaven must be much more superior to being a human being. But the truth is that the gods in heaven, they're also praying to take birth as human beings, to take advantage of the religion of love as given by Sri Chaitanya Deva. And otherwise, in the godly form, if you like, in the heavenly form, the pleasure is so intense there that we forget all about our own self, and only we become lost in that, garden of pleasure, so to say. We don't have any time for spiritual life. And similarly, in the other forms of life, the lower forms of life, survival is the order of the day. But here in the human form of life, we're in a sort of medium position. We can see, heaven and hell in the human form. Some people say, oh no, hell doesn't exist, it's just to frighten people to be good or so on. But ask people, who are suffering in the world without even a bowl of rice to eat, if there's hell or not. They're living in hell. And ask people who have everything that they could ever wish for, who were born with a silver spoon in their mouth, so to say, if heaven exists. They're living in heaven. They have a heavenly life. But for most of us, we're somewhere in between that. Not too much suffering that we can't explore and search after what is reality, and not too much enjoyment that we become swept away with that. We're somewhere in the middle. Yes, we have pleasure. Yes, we have pain. Yes, we have happiness. Yes, we have suffering. But somewhere in the midst of all that, we can still exercise our primal and essential necessity to find out who we are, why we're here, and what we should be doing with our life. And we're not alone in that search. We're not alone in that search, because the Lord himself comes. Yada yada hi dharmasya glani bhavati bharata. That every age after age I come, I vent myself to teach what is real religion and to help the devotees. He gives us so much help. The scriptures are there, the saints are there. Mahaprabhu has given us this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, which purifies, not only purifies our consciousness, but can bring us to the highest attainment of life. And this is only available in the human form of life. So now that we have this human form of life, we shouldn't waste a single moment. As much as possible, we should try to utilize our time for that purpose, for the purpose of, finishing this sojourn in the material world and going back to our eternal home. Otherwise, what's the prospect? Some people are afraid of dying. I'm not afraid of dying. I'm more afraid of being born again and going through all of that we went through before, all the growing up and having to go to school, another sojourn with that, and then having to, negotiate going out in the world and getting a job and doing this and doing that. Oh, no, we don't want that again, please. We want to try and finish this life and go back to our eternal home. And it is possible to do that, even in this life. Of course, it may not be likely that we can do it in one life, but, we have to begin somewhere, but we should earnestly try to do that. There's infinite distraction out there of, other things, proposals that will come to us that we should do. And, we can embrace any of those, but we should be a little brave and see that all of those things are peripheral. They're not really essential to who we are or what we need. So, and then people think in the world, well, I need to get a good career and all of that. Okay, that's all right. But how much sacrifice are people willing to make? Let's say to be a lawyer or a doctor or anything. How many years of study and hard work does it take to accomplish that? So should we think that to benefit ourselves spiritually will take any less commitment, any less sacrifice? We should be prepared to do that, whatever it takes. And also, at the same time, navigate this world. But our first and foremost, our prime reason for being is not to get a job, not to get a mortgage, not to have a lawn to mow, not to have all these things that everybody thinks we should have. But our prime purpose should be to connect with the real world, the eternal world, the upper world, which is where we are from and where we should try to establish ourselves. Guru Maharaj says that you should try to establish yourself in the higher realm, not looking to the lower realm for things to exploit and people to serve us, but rather to looking upwards where we can be a serving unit in that higher reality. And if we can establish ourselves there, then we have a real chance of leaving this world behind and actually awakening to our real spiritual prospect, to our real inner potential, which is all spiritual, because ultimately we are spiritual, and nothing of this material world will ever give us satisfaction. We should understand that and try with all of our might, as much as possible, to make progress in the spiritual line. This is my little contribution for today's talk on this, understanding the real purpose of the human form of life. Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev. And actually, while you were speaking, and I was listening to you speaking, I just happened across some section in Revealed Truth, because we were quoting from Srila Guru Maharaj. I thought, oh, we'll quote something from Srila Gurudev. But actually, in Revealed Truth, the quote I found was almost exactly what Devashis Prabhu was saying. So this is the very process we are hearing from our masters and sharing. And Gurudev very emphatically in Revealed Truth saying about this value of human life. Really, it is valuable. Hare Krishna. And I see that Lavanya Moidevidasi has a hand up. She has a digital hand up, which is a good sign. Lavanya, is this a complete accident, or is this you volunteering to share something? I think the second is the answer.
It's just my ego, Maharaj, because you said there's no one else from London Mart, and I was there in the corner, so I'm like, Hey, it's me. I'm sorry. That's as profound as it gets.
Well, I'm not sure that's profound, but
No,
it's very good
exactly.
you put the hand up so that we can see you there, because it's the London Zoom. And I have to say, I'm very happy to see this on my screen, at least. There are 2 pages of devotees with us. So we really do have a grand gathering. So you're in the West London Temple, just near Heathrow Airport.
Yes.
Everywhere special, but so, Lavanya, would you like to give just a little news from there? Share.
Well, we do have a secret guest on the who's downstairs. I'm upstairs in my room because I still got this cough and everything, but nothing too bad. But we have a secret guest. Is Vraja Mohini Didi is downstairs in the temple room on her way to India on Wednesday.
Well. We'll all keep it a secret. Don't worry.
Well, so that's very nice. She's here, and someone else was on the way to India, but lots of devotees are coming now through, stopping off here before they go to India for Parikram in Vrindavan, and then over to Bengal side for the Parikram, Gaura Purnima Parikram. So it's really nice because there's lots of devotees going from the West this year. It's like a really big crew, and even though I'm not going, it's just lovely to see them going, and then it reminds me of the Holy Dham and all the lovely parikrams in the past and hopefully in the future. So it's just really sweet, reviving that memory of special places, holy places in India.
And just now, being in Latvia, I met with Namapriya, and she's on her way to India too to join the Parikramas. So
yeah,
this is her first time, and so
wow.
she's asking like many questions, and she's eager to go, and in a little nervous excitement and suspense to feel and to understand, to experience what it is.
Yes.
And that's refreshing to see that too.
Yeah, you can describe it so much, but when you go through it, and it's very wonderful. You have to do it to see how it is, isn't it? To experience it properly.
And Krishna Kantara Devarasi and Munindra Mohan Prabhu, they've been in Jaipur and Galta, the place of Baladev Vidyabhushan, etc. And they put some short, I think they're probably in the public domain. I think it's in they've got them in the Instagram page of Villa Govinda Ashram Instagram page. But some very expressive, oh, we are so happy. I mean, you can hear from their heart, oh, we're so nourished and happy to be in this place. And this is also a little carrot in front of the nose of all the devotees to think, okay, this kind of sort of inner enjoyment experience we may be expecting when we're on pilgrimage. So very good. And Saraswati, I think, is with us somewhere, I saw, and maybe she can just put in a word or two because she's one of the leaders, and she's going to go with Anjali, who is now 80. Oh, are we allowed to say how old the lady is? Anyway, she's now 80 years young, and she's going with the mood. I understand that maybe the last time I can go on parikrama. So she's going, although she's been before, in this kind of separation intensity mood. Saraswati Didi, are you here with us?
I'm here. Dandavad, Maharaj. Dandavad.
Dandavad. You're hiding somewhere.
Yeah, here.
Oh, there's a waving hand. Okay, very good. Yes, Saraswati Didi, please. We're in London with lots of devotees. Not only Vraja Mohini passing through, but lots of us have come to sit in the temple just now to hear from you.
No. I mean, you all spoke very nicely, Devashis Prabhu and yourself. Vraja Mohini is actually there in the temple room. She can share something. Hey, there she is.
We need.
I thought they were waiting to hear from you.
Oh dear. I mean, it's going to be a different time now going there, and Gurudev's physical presence is not going to be there, so it's a little bit challenging. But we are going with the blessings of the devotees, and yeah, let's see what happens. And we're going to meet Keshavananda Prabhu there in Vrindavan, and he's going to take us to the different places. So he has some experience and he knows where to go. So it's nice to have the guidance of someone who know what we are meant to be doing and where we should go, because we are not going there to do some touristic program. So we just have to appreciate and give our obeisances to all these holy places, special places of pilgrimage. And yeah, and the association of the devotees is best, not alone, really, with the guidance of the devotees, of course.
And you, Saraswati, are one of the guides. You are one of the leading devotees on the parikrama.
No.
They'll be looking, they'll be looking to you for some, so they can go on parikrama. I described as in a bubble. We need to go in a bubble, a bubble of the atmosphere of pilgrimage.
We went with Srila Gurudev on parikrama. That was very special. We went to Barshana. I don't know if Devashis Prabhu was there too.
Yeah, so what's, yeah.
And they offered him to take him on the palanquin all the way up to the temple. It's very high, isn't it? But he went by walk. He didn't want to do that.
By running.
Right.
Wow.
He ran up there.
Yeah. It was, that time was Kartik time and everybody was getting sick. And he was actually looking after everyone and giving medicines to everyone, Gurudev. Always caring for everyone, making sure that everyone is well. Yes, so it's going to be a little sad also to go there and, yeah, different things, so many changes. But anyway, we'll go and give our obeisances to all the holy places and pray for, so that we don't make any offense, and try to remember all these wonderful pastimes with some, trying to listen attentively. So we remember all these special places and keep them inside in our hearts. Yeah. Please, Vraja Mohini, share something.
Maharaj, Dandavat devotees. Just really super grateful to be here in London at this beautiful temple with Saraswati Didi, Lavanya Moy, and all the devotees that are here. Very, very inspired to be here with everyone for a few days. Just seeing how beautifully, Gurudev and Guru Maharaj's mission is being cultivated here, and how their lordships are being worshipped, and the service is going on so beautifully and so cleanly, and in a very harmonious way. It's very inspiring, and seeing the different projects and plans and activities, and going on Harinam. We went on Harinam on Saturday, and to a close by town, and got to do that, and that's always very enlivening and wonderful to do. So very grateful to be here, and happy to be thinking about the Holy Dham and going there soon. And I was just remembering, I was speaking to someone else who's going to be going, who's very new, and he's going for the first time. He's new to Krishna consciousness, and he's new to going to India and everything. And we were just talking a little bit, but I was just remembering about going to Vrindavan, and there's so many temples and so many places, and it can be very overwhelming. But I was just remembering for my own self benefit and sharing with him that and like Saraswati said, we're not going there for being tourists, or we can't really see anything there. We can't see, I don't have the vision to see what is there in the temple or the deities. I cannot understand or see who they are, but coming before them with that mood of prayer and praying to be seen, praying to be, made a proper instrument for Gurudev's service, praying to be connected, and just remembering in that way, coming before the deities when we're going on Parikrama. So thank you. Dhanavats to everyone. That's all I have to say. Jai. Madhusudan Maharaj ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Oh dear, you should have stopped just before. Anyhow, I know Vraja Sundari can always say more things. She's a lively preacher to all, to the young, to the newcomers, and to the devotees as well. So anyway, we appreciate that. And your family on Wednesday. I wonder whether we can ask Saraswati and Devashis Prabhu if there's something else you could just say to share with us what you remember of Srila Gurudev going up to the temple on the top of the Varshana hill. And for those, for the devotees who don't know, and even to remind ourselves, Nanda Maharaj, he had his, because of the dangers of the demons and things that Kamsa was sending, he had his palace and his refuge, if you like, on the top of a hill. And also Vrishabhanu Maharaj, correct me if I've got the names wrong, Devashis.
No, correct, yes.
Yeah, he also made his home on the top of a hill for protection. And so Radharani, whose name is not even mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, we must take very respectfully, then that was her shelter in the palace of Vrishabhanu Maharaj on the top, which is Varshana. And nearby, relatively nearby, is Nandagram. And there is the palace of Nanda Maharaj. And so for the protection of their families, they made their places on the top of the hills, and going up to Varshana, really, they are steep steps, and I don't know how many there are, but it's a good walk for a young, healthy person. And I'm actually surprised that Gurudev went there in his later years. I mean, went there up the steps himself, because they do have palanquin carriers. But is there something more that Gurudev said, or something else you remember from that pilgrimage?
Well, I do remember that all the devotees were encouraging Maharaj to go in the palanquin. And, you pay a small amount, and four men you go in the palanquin, and four men carry you up the stairs. And for someone who's a little elderly or a little infirm, it's a reasonable way to go. It's not like it's a luxury way. It's just a practical way for somebody who may be elderly or infirm to go up the hill. So we were all encouraging Gurudev to do that. And I remember very clearly that he had this like cheeky smile on his face, and as he looked at everybody, and then he started running up those steps. And he actually ran to the top of the steps, and none of us could keep up with him. Not even the young, youthful, nobody could keep up with him. And he's like waiting at the top for everybody. And I remember going up there, and when we get to the top, obviously there's the kind of the interplay with the residents there. So there was a man at the gate, and he obviously could see that here comes a guru with many Western disciples. So they're thinking, his money is coming now. Now money is coming. So that then this man, he stood in front of the door of the gate, and he barred the gate with his body, and he wouldn't let us enter until we gave money to him. And I remember Gurudev, Purnananda Prabhu was with us, and Gurudev said to Purnananda, give him 100 rupees. And Purnananda gave the man 100 rupees. And he wanted more, but Gurudev said, no, it's enough. And then the man let us through. And then another man came with a broom saying, I'm the sweeper, you have to give me some money. I'm Radharani's sweeper. But Gurudev just, to forgive me the pun, but Gurudev brushed him aside and we went on. And then when you go around the corner along the corridor and you get to where the altar is with the deities and everything. And then they closed the curtains there, and they wouldn't open the curtains until we gave more money. So then Gurudev, he told Purnananda, give some money for the boga, for the boga offering, and another 100 rupees, and then we carried on. You can circumambulate around the temple, and old Giri Maharaj was there, and he was leading the kirtan. And as we were walking around, one of the priests, he jumped on Gurudev's back.
Oh.
And demanding more money, but that was a very foolish thing for him to do, because all the devotees just tore him down, you can imagine. And we carried on, but Gurudev was like, okay, no, it's all right, nobody, don't beat the man, and we went around, and it was all okay, but they were just trying to get a maximum return from our visit there. But it was very beautiful, and similarly, we went with Gurudev up to the temple at Nandagram too, and I remember that I had a video camera, and they're very strict about not letting you take photographs or anything up there. So I had this video camera inside my bag with the lens poking out of the bag. And so they were just doing arti there at that time, and I just pressed the record button because I wanted to record the arti, and I was thinking I was being very clever and sneaky. And then afterwards we went down, and we were in a coach, and we got in the coach, and I got my camera out to play back the arti that I'd recorded, and it was just static. There was nothing had been filmed at all. And there was nothing wrong with the camera. There was nothing. It was like it should have been the full film there, but just static for the whole thing. And I just realized, yes, if Krishna doesn't will it, then it isn't going to happen. So, but yeah, it was very nice. And I remember, that none of they're all asking for money everywhere, of course, everyone, and a lot of the devotees were refusing to give money, but Gurudev stopped us, and he said, no. Actually, what he said was, if you knew how poor these people were, you must give them money. And he said, and if they knew how hard it was for you to come by your money, they wouldn't ask you for it. Anyway, yeah, it was. But that was the remarkable thing. He ran up those stairs like a young boy, and we couldn't keep up with him. And I remember Saraswati being there at the time, and she was heavily pregnant, I believe, and she also, scaled those stairs, and it is a high stairs, But happily, I remember she went there. We were all very happy. That's as much as I remember about it.
I must admit,
but the view from up there, and you can see all across the Vrindavan from the top there. It's very beautiful.
I was just going to mention that I must admit I had definitely a big smile on my face when I was reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, the section when Mahaprabhu went through Pinda for his father who passed away, and then he went, we know, to Jaya. And then there is some expression in the Chaitanya Charitamrita of the eagerness of the pandas and the priests to get money from him, and he amply rewarded them. But it didn't it didn't pass by my notice how it was expressed, the eagerness. So we think it's something that happens today, and it's not only in Vashana and Nandagram, it does happen in places. But then when I saw that, I thought, you see, 500 years ago, also this is going on. And Mahaprabhu pacified them with gifts, and sometimes pacified them, I think, with just his presence.
And I remember actually, Maharaj, just a few years ago when we were with you, I think it was 2019 perhaps, and we went, you took us to Radha Kund in the evening, and as we're entering, to that area, you said to all the devotees, please, please, please try not to think badly about the priests here. Very important not to think offensively towards the priests here. And it is very difficult not to, because they're so grabbing and they really like pressure you, and follow you around and hound you to give money and try to trick you into giving money as well. But it is a very important thing, like advice for those who are going now, that you must be very careful not to become angry and not to think badly about those priests, because they are Brajavasis. And we should try to see that whatever is coming to us is by the will of Krishna, and not to find fault with them. As Mahaprabhu told Raghunath Das Goswami, his 3 advices: don't wear fancy clothes, don't eat fancy food, and don't mix very closely with the Brajavasis, for fear of thinking them in a mundane way.
Hare Krishna.
One thing is also very important to remember the 10 offenses to the Holy Dham.
Yes.
We were going through them, and also because we are going on the Navadvip Parikrama, the Navadvip Dham Mahatmya is very useful to read and to hear about all the different places that we are going on the Parikrama. And then we are a little awake and understand them a little bit when they are explaining about them, because there is so many people and it's very distracting, and then you are in one place and then you don't know what they are talking about. It can be quite confusing. So if we read in advance, then it's helpful to understand where we're going and what's happened there, what pastime took place. So it's quite nice. That book is available on PDF in Prema Dharma, I believe, and Gaudiya Darshan.
Yes, very helpful. Grace of Bhaktivinoda Thakur to help us see the Dharma in the proper way.
And I saw Sachi Devi reading from there in the morning program recently too, in London. Sachi is one of the London, West London. Matabasi, she lives nearby, and I saw her reading. And we're also reading here. And when you read this in advance, you also get a little hungry to like visit these places, rather than when we go to Navadip or go to the different places, like you mentioned, Nandagram, Vashana, then we turn up and then start trying to understand where we are. So yes, already to read from the Navadip Dham Mahatmya. And that book we can read anytime. It's not only for the Gaura Purnima time. And when I read Navadip Dham Mahatmya, I always think everything is in this book. It's telling you about Nityananda, about Mahaprabhu, about the Vaishnavas, about Radha and Krishna. It really does have the whole of our Krishna consciousness there in the Navadip Dham Mahatmya, and even especially so because it's giving the emphasis of the importance of Navadip Dham. In Kali Yuga, the only Dham which is increasing in potency, and the other Dhams, for whatever reasons, they're decreasing in potency in Kali Yuga. And we know that the great gift of Kali Yuga, the one great gift of Kali Yuga, the great treasure, is the holy name of the Lord as given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And talking about the value of human life, the gods themselves, they come into this world in taking human forms in order to get some touch of the holy name distributed by Mahaprabhu. So this is a little reminder that if the gods, as Devashis Prabhu was saying in the beginning, were on the heavenly planets, it doesn't mean it's a better life, that it's more suitable. The good, the sensible souls, or the souls who know what's what there, they come here in order to get some touch of Mahaprabhu's gift. So the human life, very important. And the human life, we can even add at this time, in Kali Yuga, it is very, very rare and important and valuable. And by the way, one adjustment, which I made, okay, maybe a mundane way of doing it, but I adjusted with Vrindavan in particular, which is, our temple is in the middle of Vrindavan, and it can be quite noisy with motorcycles and horns and all sorts of things taking place. And just one adjustment there, so we don't focus on the motorcycles and on the loudspeakers and on things which we know they're not Vrindavan of Krishna's Leela. They're not Vrindavan which is described in the Krishna books. So we can simply know it's so much not Vrindavan that we really do have to be aware to think beneath the cover, as Gurudev said, that beneath the cover, everything is here, but in the Dham, there's like a thin cover, more like a blanket, whereas in the rest of the world, you basically got a thick cover of material covering, and then the spiritual side is a little bit, it's hidden underneath. But in the Dham, if we're fortunate, we can feel a little bit of what is there. So Vrindavan is a little extreme for the noise which can take place there, and all the concrete and everything. Navadip is much more gentle and countryside and not so severe. Well, I hope not so severe. Things do change over the years. But this way, to anything material that we see, we can remember that, yes, well, I must see beyond the covering. And we will not disrespect anybody who's there. As Guru Maharaj said, everyone who's born there and everyone who comes there have some touch of the Dham. They've got some connection. Somehow they're allowed to be there. And one of the offenses to the Holy Dham is to have disrespect for the residents or the visitors who come to the Dham. So we must be conscious about that. And we know that Srila Prabhupada in particular throughout his books is repeatedly saying that the Dham, or the temple where the Lord is being worshipped, and the Vaishnavas are. He's always equating the temples, these temples. They are also the holy Dham. And we know, and in particular, of course, the places where Srila Gurudev visited around the world. We feel eager to visit those places that Gurudev visited, the temples, etc. So many can't travel to the holy places, or can once in their life, whatever it may be, but it's not easy. We've got devotees in South America and distant parts of the world. It's not so easy. And we've got Rupa Vilas Prabhu in the Philippines. How poor, how difficult for them to get money. And I've been to his home, how simple they live. And there's millions of people in the world who don't have that opportunity for purchasing flight tickets and things. So where there is we need to remember that wherever there is a temple, that also is the holy Dham, and can be more so to the practitioner too, in the sense of the Lord is being nicely worshipped, etc. And if we go to the holy places and we only see the outside part, or as Gurudev was disturbed by, we go to the holy places to do business, to buy things, to sell in the West, to this, that, and the other, then it's, we're not, what is our connection with the holy Dham? Anyway, it is wonderful. The pilgrimages are continuing, and may the devotees be nourished. Who else is coming through London on their way to India? Do you recall? Saraswati?
Yes, Srila Janardhan Maharaj, Srila Ashram Maharaj, and possibly Pitambar Prabhu.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. And they're coming back from India and going to stay with us for a few days. And they're also going to Villa Govinda and Spain.
Yes, Jaya.
So yeah, they have a full-on schedule.
Jai, I think Europe is going to, I think everywhere, not only Europe, everywhere is going to be extra festival full this year, because it's the first time that the devotees everywhere have been able to really hold festivals and things after the COVID. So much restriction was there before. Okay, wonderful. Devashis Prabhu, Saraswati, our London devotees, any additional word along the way?
No.
No. Anyway, a wonderful subject matter about the humans, and let us all look in the mirror and see if we're human. Okay, if we find we are, then let's do our best and use our human life nicely according to the directives of the scriptures, actually the directives of Gurudev, Guru Maharaj, and how Gurudev has also addressed this in a very sweet short booklet, In Search of the Original Source, where Gurudev is talking to that gathering in Mexico. And so many places when we need to wake up. We're human, we've got such an opportunity. Let's use it nicely. We have Kum with us. Come, Didi. We're in London, but would you like to say just a quick word? Please excuse me. You are really our senior most devotee here, and we appreciate your presence. So be seated in the London temple for a moment. Just briefly something. We're a little over time, but come.
Well, that's a very wonderful thought, Maharaj, and to be with the London devotees, especially going on the way to these auspicious parikrams, which we've all missed way too much. I'm senior in the sense of the necessity to hear. And so I've been very happy to hear everyone here speaking. It's wonderful to think of the two subjects together, related. What is the value of human form? And here we are on the way to go on the parikrams. This is from the beginning to the conclusion of these topics.
Beautiful. Much appreciated, Komkomdiri, and much appreciated the presence of you all, and so many have also joined along the way. And definitely we've got to give credit to our translators. First of all, it's fully engaging and full energy Seva to do simultaneous translation. But by the enthusiasm of Vraja Sundari Deva and Praneshri Didi, then this has happened this time. You've all come to London and you've been able to sit in the temple rooms of the two temples and be together with our London devotees. We've been their guest today, so we all appreciate that.
Jai.
Jai Om Vishnu Pad Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Sundari Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Om Vishnu Pad Srila Guru Maharaj Srila Bhakti Rakha Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai. Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai.
Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Vaga Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. All the assembled devotees Ki Jai. And all the devotees, I see your recording too, so all the devotees who may see us in the recorded version presently, and those of you who've left messages in the box here also, Anjali Potnov has sent us Dandavats, and also Rasananda, young Rasananda Prabhu in Sochi, sending obeisances. Happy to have you with us, and Tunga Rasa Praneshwari. To all of you, my obeisances, to Barnaby here in Italy, I see, and to the devotees all gathered together, Shama Priya, Nadia Sundari, and all Govinda Leela Sundar Prabhu and Lakshmi Priya, and Swami Vishwanath Prabhu, Leela Moy Devi Dasi, Sneha Moy Devi Dasi, excuse me, and all. Kalia Daman Krishna Prabhu here in Italy. Very good, hearing the Spanish. So we've got Spanish listeners and Russian listeners. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo. All glories to all the devotees, to Devashis Prabhu, to Saraswati Devi Dasi, to all the devotees in London there. We appreciate inviting us to you.
Jai Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj ki Jai.
Jai.
Hari Hari. Dandavat, Dandavat.
Dandavat.
Jai